Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to perform the CRUD operations by using Node.js with PostgreSQL as well as Postman. So I'll be showing you how to post data, update data, delete data, fetch data by using two ways, which is fetching the data by using ID as well as fetching the entire data in the table. So I'll be showing you all these. So let's get started now. So I'll be showing you first how to connect Node.js and PostgreSQL. Later I'll be showing you how to post data using Postman. So the prerequisite for this video is going to be you must have Node.js installed in your system, and also you must have PostgreSQL along with pg4admin. So if you don't have PostgreSQL installed, you can just click on the card that is appearing on top. I've installed it completely. So now let's get started with the code. So here I am in my Visual Studio Code. I have just opened a folder. So let me just go and create a file. Let me name it as main.js. So for this purpose, we'll be requiring only one npm package, which is called as pg. So if I go to their official site, it's called as node postgres, and the command is going to be npm ipg. So it has these many weekly downloads. So let me just copy this, and we're just going to run this command. So now let's begin with the code. It's going to be const within curly bracket. We need to import the client from the pg package. So it's going to be client equal to require, and within single quote it's going to be pg. All right, and the next line we'll be defining our host name, username, port, password, and the database name. All right, so it's going to be const, let me name it as connection something, equal to, it's going to be new client. So we're going to create a object of this particular variable that we have imported. It's going to be open circular bracket, open a curly bracket, and as I told you here, first thing is going to be the host name. It's going to be the host, and within double quotes, since we are using it in our local system, it's going to be localhost, and just put a comma. Next one is going to be the username. So by default, the username of a PostgreSQL setup is going to be postgres. So this is going to be the default username, and next is going to be the port number. So it's going to be port, and the default port is going to be 5432. So in case if you're confused about this username and port number, let me show you a simple way how you can find this. You can just go to your pg admin, and you'll be having the PostgreSQL 16, this particular option below servers. You're just going to right click over here, and you need to go to properties, and here you will be having option called as connection, and here you can see the host name is localhost, the port number is 5432, and the username is Postgres. So these are just the default settings. I didn't change any of this, so we are good to go now. Next thing is going to be the password. So this is going to be the password that you had given when setting up your PostgreSQL. So I will just enter my password. After entering the password, it's going to be our database name. So for that, it's going to be database, and let's just go and create a database from scratch. Just go to your pg admin, and you'll be having this PostgreSQL. Expand this. By default, we'll be having, I guess, one database. I have created the other two. So you need to just right click on the database, create database. So here you need to name. So I'll just go with demo post something, and the rest are fine. You can just leave it since this is just a demo activity. Just save. That's it. You'll be getting your demo database. Later I will also show you how you can create a table as well as insert values, because we are going to write a query and get the values also. So that's like a confirmation that we have successfully connected. All right, so the name of our db is now demo post. So I'm going here, it's going to be demo post. That's it. And final thing is we will be using this connection variable. So I will just put that variable over here, dot connect. All right, so this basically connects with PostgreSQL, and we can just have a, then like we can just have a console, maybe like this console dot log connected. That's it. All right, so if we have successfully connected, we will be getting this. You can just have a error handling and stuff, but just a basic stuff, so I'll just have a console. So now for running this, it's going to be node and the file name .js. So make sure that you are in the right folder in the terminal. It's going to be node space main.js and hit enter. And here you can see we have got the console as connected. So now we are done with the first part of connecting our Node.js code with our PostgreSQL database. Let's see how we can implement the post function. So for this, we'll be requiring the express npm package. So for installing that, just open a new terminal and the command is going to be npm space I express. That's it. And yeah, it is done. So let's just import it. It's going to be const express equal to require express. That's it. And we need to define our app, const app equal to express. So using this variable only we will be creating the post function. Next is going to be app.use express.json express.json, and super important thing, you need to have here a circular bracket. Don't forget this. This means that we are just going to use JSON data. We are going to send JSON data from Postman. So that's the purpose there. So now we are ready with the setup, the basic setup of Express. So we are also having our connection ready. Next thing is we will be requiring a table, because in the table only we will be posting the data. We are having a database named as demo post. So now let's just go and create a table inside this database. So just go to your PostgreSQL and we'll be having the database over here. Expand this, and in this under schemas we'll be having public. Expand this, and here you can see we'll be having tables. So now I'm not having any tables because we haven't created any. So to create a table, just right click, create table. You can have a table name. Let me go with demo table and go to columns. Just click on this plus. We need to enter the column name, and the data type is going to be character varying. This one, don't choose the other, and this is fine. You can play around with this. And next, ID. So this is going to be of type integer, this one. So let me go with the default one. So I'll just save it. So we'll be having the demo table over here. Expand this columns. We are having two things. So to view the data, right click and view already data, all rows. So we'll be getting the SQL query also, but currently there is nothing inside the table because this is the moment that we have created it. So this is fine. So now let's just go and create our post function. Just come outside of this connection. So it's going to be app, which is this variable dot post, and here we will be specifying our path. So within single quotes it's going to be slash post, or you can have post data, something like this, and put a comma. It's going to be request comma response, and we'll be having here a arrow function like this. So let me just expand this. So first thing is we'll be getting the name and ID. That is the thing we are going to be sending from our postman body. So here we'll be sending a JSON, and that will be characterized by our request.body, okay, this variable. So it's going to be const within curly bracket name and ID. So we need to send this parameters from postman equal to request.body. Yeah, and next is going to be our insert query. So it's going to be const insert query. So this is going to be a simplest of SQL queries. Insert into table name. In our case the table name is demo table, so just copy this, and next thing space our column names. So it's going to be name comma ID, that's it, space values, and inside the values again open circular bracket. It's going to be $1 comma $2. So name corresponds to $1 and ID corresponds to $2. So this is basically the query. Insert into table name, you need to have something like this. And in normal SQL query, we will be having here values. So we're just having a placeholder for that. That's the only difference over here. So we are storing this in a variable. That's it over here. And next line is going to be, we are going to execute the query. So for that, we will be requiring our connection variable. So it's going to be con, this variable that we have. Okay. Dot, we'll be having the query function, and here we need to pass a few parameters. First one is going to be the query variable, this one. So insert query and comma, within square brackets it's going to be name and ID, and be careful over here, the order needs to be same, because here we are having name and ID, so you must also pass name and ID over here, otherwise the data types will get mismatched, because this is of type string, this is of type integer. That's good. Next we'll be having a callback function which is going to be error comma result. So you can name this anything, and arrow function, go this way. So we'll be having a if condition just to catch the error. If there is any errors, you can just have response dot send the error. You can even have a console dot error also, in case if you want. You can send status response dot status 500 error, something, totally up to you. We're having a else block. Else we can just send response dot send. You can just have posted data, and if you want, you can even like send the result, or let me just console dot log the result. That's it. So this is basically our post. So simple. We're having a path, we are getting the name and ID from postman JSON, catching that, writing a query, then mapping the query as well as the data. Then we are just checking if there is any errors, else we are just sending a response as data. Simple. So final thing is the most important thing, we must start our Node.js server, right? So for that we need to have a listen. So just minimize this post operation, you need to be outside this. Okay, it's going to be app dot listen. Here we need to specify the port number, it can be anything. Let me go with the standard 3000, and another callback function, it's going to be console dot log server is running. Simple console. That's it. Now we are good. So let's go to terminal, just stop it, control C to stop, and it's going to be node main.js. So here you can see we are getting server is running, which means that our server has started. We don't have any errors like in the connection in this code. And next is connected. So now we are good. So next thing is we need to go to postman. So in the postman, basically you need to go here, new tab. So you'll be getting a get by default. Most important thing, change this to post, because we are performing post operation, and you need to have the path. So it's going to be this one, http://localhost:3000, and this 3000 should match with this port number over here, and don't put https, it won't work. And let's just add this path. Our post path is /post data. So come here, it's going to be post data, and go to body, you'll be having none. Change this to raw and select JSON. If you select text or any other thing, you will be getting an error. So we need to send JSON. It's going to be name. Let me go with John some name, and it's going to be ID. Go with 200. So these parameters should match with this one here. So make sure that you're sending the correct thing there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So if I now go and send from postman, we'll be getting post data, and we need to get the result in the console. So I'll just send it. So I'm getting posted data, and this is basically the result. We were having like the row count, how many rows have changed, the command. So this is fine, you don't need to like print the result. Just for demo I did that. So now if I go to my PostgreSQL table and if I just rerun this query, so you will be having the run button. Click this. Here you can see I'm having John 200. So if I go with some other ID and some random name, we run again, so we'll be getting this. So the post operation is perfect. I'll be having schemas, and inside this we'll be having our table. So here you can see we're having the demo table and we'll be fetching that data from this table. So if I go view and edit data, we need to get these values. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show in this video. So let's begin. So we need to go here and it's going to be app.get, and we need to specify a path for that, and another callback function. It's going to be request comma response arrow function like this, and the path that I'm going to give is fetch, and just come inside. First thing is we must have the query, so it's going to be const query equal to, this is going to be a simple select query from SQL. So it's going to be select asterisk from your table name. So in my case the table name is demo table, so just put it over here. That's it. This is basically the query. And come to the next line, it's going to be your connection variable. So in my case this is my connection variable. If you want, you can just pause the video and type this code. Okay, it will take hardly 5 minutes. Yeah, so this is my connection variable, and I'll go here and put connection variable dot query. So this is a function. So if you want, I will rename it to fetch query like this. So this is a function from our connection variable, and inside this open circular bracket we'll be passing two parameters. One is our fetch query, so it's going to be fetch query, and another one is a callback. So it's going to be error comma result. So this result will have the data that is present in our table, and in case if we get any errors during our fetching process or connection, it will be caught by this error variable. So another callback function. So if error, we can just console the error or send it. Let me just send it as a response. So it's going to be error, and in case if there aren't any errors, which means that our fetch process is successful, we are just going to send the data response dot send result dot rows. So if you want, you can just have a console.log results and check what else all the data that we get. I'm just directly fetching the rows and sending it over here. So this is a result variable, and that's it. We are pretty much good. This is just the listener. So this is basically the code. That's it. And let me just now save it and run it. So it's going to be node your file name.js. So everything is done, and I will go to my postman. So we need to have like this. You need to have here get. Make sure that you're changing this to get, and no need to have any body, just have it as none. It's going to be HTTP, not HTTPS, :// localhost. You need to specify the port number, which you have over here, and also this path specified here also. And make sure that you have a table and with some data already inserted. So now I will just send it. Here you can see I'm getting the response. So now let's begin with the fetch by ID. So let me just go here. It's going to be app.get, because we are going to fetch data. All right, and inside that we will be having a path. Let me go with /fetch by ID like this, and I'll be passing the ID in the URL itself. So I'll just put a slash over here, :ID. Okay, next is going to be the request and the response, and again a callback function. This is fine, and next we need to access this ID from the URL. So for that, let's have a variable. It's going to be const ID equal to request dot params dot ID. So this variable needs to match with this one. Okay, you can have this as anything. And next we need to construct our query. So it's going to be a simple SQL query. So let me just have const fetch query equal to select asterisk from your table name. So my table name is demo table in my PostgreSQL. So just copy this demo table, and we'll be using the var clause. It's going to be var id equal to $1. Okay, so this variable, okay, this variable or name over here should be your column name. So for example, in my case, I'm having two columns. One is name and id. So that's the reason why I am using here id. So in case if you have some register number or something else in your column, you need to put that over here. Okay, so this needs to be your column name. Now we are good with the query, and final thing is we need to run this query with the help of our connection variable. So this is my connection variable. I'll just put it over here, connection variable dot query, and inside this we need to pass a few parameters. First one is going to be our query variable, which is fetch query, comma, and within square bracket we need to pass this id that we are getting from our URL. So we need to pass that within square brackets, super important thing, and that id will be picked up as this $1. And next is going to be another callback function which is going to have error as well as the result, and this result will contain the data that is going to get fetched, and arrow function, and inside this we will have a simple if condition. If there is any errors, we will be catching that error, and we will just put response.send error, or we'll be having a else condition. In case there isn't any errors, we will just send response.send the result. So this result will have the data, and that data will be present under rows inside result. So you need to have something like this, response.send result.rows. So this is basically it. The rest are the template code. You can just pause the video and type it out also. Yeah, so now we are fine. Let me save it, and for running it, it's going to be node your file name.js. That's it. Now we are good, and I'll go to the postman. It's going to be get, make sure that you're changing to get, and it's going to be http:// localhost, your port number that you have specified over here. Simple stuff there, and the path is going to be fetch by id. So just copy this, and you can literally paste it over here, and you don't need to like pass the id like that. We will be giving a number over here. Okay, so let me just go with a random id as 100, and I will just send it, and I'm getting a empty list. And the reason why I'm getting this is because in my table I have only two IDs. One is 200 and I don't know this number. So these are the only two IDs that I have. 100 is not present. So in case if you are checking for an ID that is not at all present, you can just have a if condition saying if response dot rows is a empty list, that means that that particular ID is not present in your table. So in case I will go with the ID, say 200. So just put here as 200, and here you can see I am getting name as well as the ID. So name is John, ID is 200. So this is working perfectly fine. And if you want to directly access this JSON without the list, what you can do is you can just have rows of index 0. So I will just rerun, and now you can see we'll be getting only the JSON, which is the 0th element in the list. So if I run it, here you can see I'm not having that list or the square brackets, directly the JSON. So now let's see the update operation. So for update, we will be requiring the ID, because only with the help of the ID in our table we will be able to update the other values. So that's what I will be doing. So let me just go here. It's going to be app dot put. Okay, that's the thing that we'll be using for update, and inside this we will specify the path. It's going to be slash update slash colon ID. So I'll be getting the ID from the URL and the other parameters from the request.body. So it will be something like this. Imagine this is the URL. I will be passing the ID from here, and the other values will be coming from here. So that's how I'm going to do it. And next is going to be request comma response. So now we need to get the ID value from this. Okay, so for that it's going to be const ID equal to request dot params dot id. Okay, so this variable and this variable should match. And next we need to get the request dot body values also. So in my case I'm just having name alone, that's the other column that's going to get updated. So it's going to be const name equal to request dot body dot name. That's it. Next we will be writing our update query, which is going to be a simple SQL update query. Let me have it as const update query equal to, within double quotes it's going to be update space your table name. So in my case the table name is demo table, so I will just put it over here. Set the column that we want to update. So in my case the only column that I want to update is name, so I will just put here name equal to $1, and we'll be using the where clause, where id equal to $2. So this id, this is the column name that will be coming over here, the other column name that you have. So in case if you have some register number or some other column name, that column name should come over here. Okay, so these are your column names, name and id, not these values that I get from here. So now we are done with our update query, and next is going to be, we'll be executing this update query. So for that, come to the next line. It's going to be your connection variable. This is my connection variable in my code, so it's going to be con dot query, and inside this we'll be passing few parameters. First one is our update query, comma, within square bracket we will be passing the name and id. It's going to be name comma id. So you need to be careful over here when passing the values. The value that you pass first corresponds to $1, and the value that you pass second corresponds to $2. So don't interchange id at first and name second. Name should be coming to $1, id should be coming to $2. So be careful with the order there. And next is going to be a callback function. It's going to be error comma result, and we'll be just having a simple if condition. If there is any error, we will just send response as error, and in the else block we can just send updated, or you can even send the result. That's totally up to you. I will just send updated. So that's basically the query, guys. Only this much. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me save it, and if I run it now, it's going to be node your file name.js. Yeah, everything is fine. Now let me go to Postman, create a new one, and we just remove this. First thing is it's going to be put. Make sure that you're changing to put over here, because it will be get by default. So just change this to put. And next change is going to be, you need to have this http localhost and your port number that you have specified over here. In my case I have 3000, and you need to just copy this path and put it over here. So the id, so in my case I'm just having this id 200. I will go with that. It's going to be 200 over here. And next is the body. Click on body, and you need to go to raw JSON, select JSON from this list. Within curly bracket I'll just put here name, and I will just pass a name over here, just a random name now, and this name should match with this value. Okay, this value, this name that we are getting over here. So now if I send it, our value for 200 should change over here. So this should be QWERTY over there. So I will just send it now. Yeah, I'm getting updated. So this is this one that's coming as a response. And if I go and run the query, select table query, here you can see the value has been updated. So this does the job. And imagine in case you are having another column. So let's say you are having another column as address. So in that case what you will be doing is, you will just have the exact same thing. You will just put here, just have it as address. Here also you need to change it to address, and make sure that you are having address over in the table also. Okay, you should have address there, and here also you will like put a comma and pass here the address like this. Yeah, and next in the query you will just put a comma, and you will just have address equal to $2, and this will be $3, the ID will be $3, and here in the center it will be address. This value should come over here. So this is in case if you have multiple columns. So in case if you have another one, it will be $3 and ID will be $4, and here you will be adding that value. So just do the correction if you have multiple columns. So now let's start with our delete code. So it's going to be app dot delete, and next open bracket. Here we need to specify the path, so I will just have it as slash delete another slash, and we'll be passing the ID through here because we will be deleting a particular row with the help of the ID. So we need to pass the ID over there, and we'll be passing it in the URL itself. For example, imagine this to be the path. You will just put here a slash, and we'll just pass the ID as 3, something like that from here, and we will access this ID in our Node.js code. Okay, so we need to have the path like this, :ID. Next thing is just put a comma. It's going to be request and a response, a callback function, and we will be accessing the ID over here. So it's going to be const ID equal to request dot params dot ID, and next is going to be the query to delete the particular row. So we will be having a simple SQL query. So it's going to be const delete underscore query equal to delete from table name. So in my case the table name is demo table, so I want to specify that delete from table name where ID equal to $1. So this particular word that I'm using here after the word clause should be the column in your table. So I am using here ID because in my table I'm having a column named ID. So here you can see I'm having name and ID, and in case if you're having it as roll number, register number, or something else, you need to specify that particular column name which you are having as primary key in your table. So you need to replace that over here. So that's the thing. We are good with our delete query now. Next is we will be using our connection variable, which is con, in my case this one, the variable that I have specified, dot query, and inside this we will be passing a few parameters. The first one is going to be our delete query, comma, and within square bracket we need to pass the ID. So this will directly map this ID that we are passing in the URL with this particular delete query. So it's going to be delete from demo table where ID equal to this value that we are passing, so it will get replaced over there. And next is a callback function. It's going to be error comma result. I'm gonna have it result rather than response, and a curly bracket like this. And if there is any errors, we can just response dot send the error, else response dot send result. So that's the code basically. Yeah, just save it, and for starting it, it's going to be node your file name. Yeah, that's it. So now we are done. So let's go to Postman, and here I'm having the operation for posting data. I'll just copy this path. So it's going to be http://localhost : and the port number. So that port number you have specified here should match with the port number you have specified in your app.listen. Alright, yeah. Next thing is we need to change this from get to delete operation, because here also we are using delete, and I'll just copy the path and put it over here. That's it. So now we need to replace the ID with the ID that we are having in our table. So in my case I will just go with ID 1 at first. So I'll just put here ID 1. That's it. No need to have any body. It should be none. You don't need to pass any like request body or data over there. So that's pretty much it. And if I send it, here you can see I'm getting the result. So this is what this result contains. It contains a JSON, and you can just read it through. So the most important things is the row count, which means how many rows got updated or deleted because of this query. So our command is delete. So one row has been deleted. So if I go to my PostgreSQL table, so only one row has id as 1. So that's the reason why we are getting here row count as 1. So now if I run this again, we won't be having the third row. See, it has gone. So now if I specify the id as 3, we'll be getting the row count as 3, which is basically the number of rows getting affected because of the query. So with id 3, I'm having here 3 rows, which means 3 rows are going to get deleted and 3 rows are going to get affected. So that's the reason we'll be getting here row count as 3. So if I run this, yeah, row count is 3, and if I run the select command, the IDs with row count 3 are gone. And in case if you feel like you don't want such a big JSON as a response, what you can do is you can just send literally anything over here. So I'll just send it as deleted, and can just rerun it again, and this time go with what else do I have? I have to send it. Yeah, I'm getting deleted, and 2 is also gone. So now let's see what happens if we send id that isn't even present in our table. So you can also have a check over here, maybe a select query before running this. Just have a select query and check if that particular id is present, and in case if that id is present, then only proceed with the delete query. So you can just have a condition like that. So what if I go with like 25? I don't have 25 in my table. I think we'll still get deleted. Yeah, we are still getting deleted, but actually nothing would have happened in our table also. So you can just have a condition in case if you want to check if that id is present in your table, or else nothing is going to happen. It's not going to affect any of your data if you send a unknown id. So that's the video, guys. I hope you have found it useful. Do check the playlist of my channel. Done a lot of videos in CRUD operations, Node.js, Spring Boot, MongoDB, MySQL, PostgreSQL, as well as OpenAI API, Gemini AI API, and other AI tools. Check the playlist, subscribe me. Thanks for watching.